Welcome to Fear It Goes, the podcast all about taking your fears with you and doing it anyway. I'm your host, Brandy Taylor. Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to Fear It Goes. Today we are talking about authenticity and being true to your inner you. It's a big topic for me right now because I've discovered something very interesting, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Cool part of the brutal honesty is that it's taken me a bit to get to the point where I'm not judging it. I'm just observing it, and we're moving through it. So over the last little while, I've caught myself spinning. I love these moments when it's so raw and I hate them. Because I'm positive that you guys go through this too. Months ago, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about the authentic self and really discovering who you are and stop feeling like a fraud, right? When you feel like a fraud or an imposter in your own life. And I told him, I'm writing this book. It's called It's All About You, Baby. How to Live Your Authentic Self in an Inauthentic World. And I've had the name locked down for quite some time, and I've been writing bits and pieces of this book for quite a long time, actually. And over this last week, it all kind of hit me. When we're doing something new, we often feel like we're trying on clothes. Well, is this the fit? It's not quite right. Is this the fit? It's not the right color. It doesn't look quite right. It doesn't feel quite right. It just isn't me. And it's an interesting part of having a lot of knowledge, which so many of us carry so much knowledge and don't know how it applies to new roles in life. And when you take a big leap and you make a switch, you're still finding your wings. You're still finding that perfect fit. And is it always going to be perfect? Probably not. But you're finding the one that is you, that's authentic to you. And our deepest selves will never lie to us. But our beautiful ego will constantly present what we need to work through to reach that authentic you. So I think to myself, over this past year, I've tried on a lot of clothes. I know that I am absolutely fascinated with the microbiome. Therefore, a keto diet comes into this, paleo and a few other diets, but really eating clean, healthy, whole foods and what that does. So I've gone down rabbit holes in the information overload or the research aspect of that, and I've applied it to my life. And that's been over the last few years with keto and with microbiome. And honestly, my whole life I've studied nutrition as a hobby because I've loved it and I've been very interested in it. So I go quite deep down these rabbit holes. And then there's the other side, the psychology side, and how the mind works and how unbelievably untrained we are unless you've been taught. And I'm telling you, the majority of us have not been taught. And I was saying to a friend of mine, wouldn't it have been nice to have grown up in a home that had Buddha or that had a belief system in place that taught us that we were not our minds and that our mind is here surfacing things for us. It's a guidance system, but if it's untrained, it's very unruly, and it can take us down these crazy paths that lead us to believe that we are not who we are. That this world around us, that we don't have power in this world around us, or that we only have limited power in this world around us. And there's so much that can be gained when we understand how to work with who we truly are. And then I think of the side of what we truly are, this energy being that we really are, and what we can tap into from that space when we recognize that power, the true, authentic self, the one that guides us, the one that inspires us, the one that drives us and pulls us in our purpose and passion. It's the part of you that never has you doubting. It doesn't ever ask you questions or say things to you like, you can't do that. What makes you think you're smart enough? Who do you think you are? It's never going to guide you that way. Your true, authentic self is your best friend. It will never take you down. It will only rise you up. It will only guide you in all of your power. And it kind of dawned on me this last week why I haven't been. When we show up in the world as part of who we are, people don't really see what they're so direly needing or direly wanting to connect to you for. So if I show up 50% as 50% of me, they're like, hey, yeah, you're kind of nice. If I show up as 75% of me, they're starting to really resonate with me. Some, anyways. And then if I show up as 100% me, unapologetically, because there's nothing to apologize for, nothing. You are this spectacular, bright beam of light in this world. And if I show up that way, people are inspired by that. People want to take action by that. People are gravitating to that. So why do we show up as less than who we are? So I had to ask myself, because here I am talking to a coach last week. And it's funny because coaches need coaches just as much as people need coaches and business owners need coaches because they show us what we are not seeing at the time. We are emotionally attached, or we become attached until we're well trained to stop doing this, but we are very well attached to our own lives. And it's so easy. It's so beautifully easy as a coach to spot it in someone else. I'm telling you, it's awesome. It's such a gift that I get to give to somebody that sight, the sight that they don't have. But let me tell you, it's the same thing when I get that sight from someone else. So I'm speaking to this coach last week, and we're talking about, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm having problems with my marketing. It's just not connecting. And so she asked me some good questions. But really, I'm pretty open when I go into these communications, and I'm willing to be honest. I'm willing to really be honest with her and me. And so, of course, one of the questions comes up, and I'm starting to see this very specific picture come up. And I'm like, I am playing small. Why am I playing small? What's going on here? I never want to play small. I always want to bring my everything to you guys, everything I got. When I get up on a stage, that's what I bring. I bring everything I've got because I want to give that. So playing small, I can't give you everything I've got because I'm coming from a state of lack, from part of, not all of me. Why am I doing that? So it's been kind of a very interesting look into why. And one of the comments that this coach made, one of the comments that came up was how much I was judging myself. And how funny is this? Because I teach judgment and how destructive judgment can be. Assessing, there's no problem with assessments. Assessments are looking at facts. Judgment are laying emotions on those facts and now skewing them. So, of course, my lovely ego is coming in saying, you need to work through this. And it's putting it out in some of the most ugly ways. I feel like a fraud. All these questions are coming up. Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. How can I deliver a solid message of what I offer and how amazing Align Now is? And fear it goes, how can I do that if I can't be clear with myself? And I guarantee so many of you beautiful, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, so many of you beautiful souls out there are doing the same thing. You want to give so much. And you are giving so much of you. but in all the ways that are not authentic to you. So once I realized I was judging myself, and then you judge that, I shouldn't do that. I know better. I have tools. I know these things, right? There's more judgment. And then I'm feeling shameful or guilty. And guess what? If you go back to the podcast or the episode on emotions, it talks about the frequencies of emotions and how anchoring they are and how much they stop us, literally stop you in your tracks from doing the things you know you want to do to get ahead. The things that you know will grow you, grow your business, grow your relationships. They stop you. So how do you get out of this? First of all, judgment is the beginning, right? So we need to stop judging ourselves. And if you don't know how yet, Align Now is an amazing program that teaches many things, but that is part of it. It takes you down the journey of really discovering, one, what matters to you, what drives you and gets you excited and really brings out you and your purpose. It's about discovering your authentic you, your authentic voice, and how you play in this world. And what you want to do with that. It's pretty amazing, actually. And it clears up all of the things we've been talking about today. The ego, how it's working with you, how to clear out your blocks, all of your programming, your original meanings that need to be reframed, that need to be released, the emotional attachments to things. It sounds so funny because here I am saying this is what the program offers, and I've been stuck in my own. Because sometimes I think to myself, I shove myself through my own program. I should shove myself through my own program. And should is one of those words that I have in my program that I say, this is one of those disempowering words. Why is should a disempowering word? Because should is a looking at a problem with a emotionally heavy attached feeling. And your emotions play very interesting roles in our lives. And it's funny because they do a whole bunch of things. Emotions, feelings, men, women, hormones, how this affects them, how this affects your relationships. It's amazing, actually. The more I look into, and the more I've looked into this, the more I'm absolutely amazed with what we can change so very quickly. So very quickly. So I realized I'm just going to come out and just be super honest and lay it all out on the table because that's being human. We all get stuck in moments. It's just a question of how you get out of them, right? So I said judgment is the first thing you need to look at, or you want to look at. You really want to. You don't need to, you want to. You want to look at judgment and where you're judging yourself and what emotions are coming up with that. It's the beginning. Reframing and reprogramming those original meanings are absolutely freeing. Forgiveness comes into play there too. Forgiveness of self. And honestly, trust me, when you get to know who you are, you won't have to forgive anybody anymore. You'll understand that there is no need for forgiveness. It's a very weird and absolutely amazing place you get to when you understand forgiveness and when you understand you. And when we move into things like breaking through blocks and barriers and understanding why they're there, that's another freeing moment. And I'm telling you, all of these things happen and you become more and more and more free because you're lightening up. Your energy is shifting and you don't even know it. It's the best thing ever. It's so awesome. There is nothing better than watching your own vibration or feeling your own vibration change. It's funny. So I have a client. She is young. She is beautiful. I love this. Oh, I love this soul. Love this soul. And she gets stuck like everyone else. She's quite advanced in where she's gotten to with her growth. And honestly, it's funny because we've had these conversations before where she comes into the conversation, she's really heavy, and you feel it. I feel it anyways. I feel that energy off her. And so we begin the work. And a lot of times your thoughts are taking you down a road that keep you heavy, and they keep you in that playing small, that little space. So I said that I've discovered some really interesting things over the week. I'll get back to that in a minute because I really do want to talk about what's happening with her. She's an amazing client. So we will walk through where her mind is at, what she wants, her goals. And it's funny because goals the word is thrown around so often and people don't really recognize how important it is to actually have some sort of vision in mind, right? I want this. What is that? Because if you have no idea what your vision is, you just float around and life just kind of kicks you around. You don't want that. Trust me. You don't want to be kicked around. And well, I guess this is what's supposed to happen. You can guide your life in the most unbelievably spectacular ways. And we are sitting in a time right now with this pandemic where we are in our houses, where our lives are changing. There's never been a better time to really sit down and spend a little bit of time with you and really recognize who you is. Who is you? That beautiful you inside, the one that is your cheerleader, the one that is your best friend, the one that is there for you every second of every day. The one that you fall madly in love with and go, how did I ever live without you? That one. Because trust me, you all have that in you. You all have that most beautiful you sitting there begging you to see who you are so that you can go show up in the world with that. So this client, we talk through these things, we move through these experiences, and I can feel her energy just absolutely skyrocket by the end of our call. And it's amazing. It's amazing for her. It's amazing for me. Seriously, it's a payoff for me. That is a payoff for me, just as much as it is for her. But I love the end when I say, tell me where you're at now. Tell me what you're going to do now. I can do anything. And you're moving through moments that are hard. Life happens. It's always going to be happening. How we perceive it, how we work through it is up to us. The last call I had with her, we were talking about reaction versus response and the massive differences with that and what to do so that you stop reacting. Reacting is you pulling the past forward into the present. It's a reaction from the past. It's something you're tied to, and now you're bringing it into the present. And it's amazing how much you can shift relationships, how much you can shift your relationship with whatever you're doing. So for her in that one particular moment, there was many things we were dealing with, but one of them was the workload she's got. And we were talking about the workload, and literally we were able to move her out of the reaction and feeling overwhelmed into this incredible space of excitement. All of us have that opportunity to move into anything excited, to move into anything we're doing, anything our life, we're driving in our life. We can change the way we experience it. It's funny because I was going to give you guys a very, very different podcast today. I'm doing a whole bunch of episodes on business right now and have a really excellent, so exciting, with a gentleman from the Netherlands. He's out in Vietnam right now. And honestly, I loved the interview. I'll have him on again for a different topic, but so knowledgeable and so wonderful. And I can't wait to bring that to you guys because it's an insight. I always want to bring you guys insights, something that's going to, even if you take one nugget, you're like, oh my God, that was brilliant. I'm so glad I experienced that with you. So anyways, we're working on that, but I just had to share this with you. So I said, been experiencing all this stuff this week, and a lot of clarity has come to mind. And I've been thinking a lot about Clarity, the course that I offer. And I've been thinking also about how that's the intro into the bigger program, Align Now, and how important it is. And this last week, I realized exactly why I've been blocked, where I've been blocked. So I told you guys at the very, very beginning of this podcast, episode 1, Pooping My Pants and Doing It Anyways, I told you guys about my first memory. So I had lots of interesting things happen that were pretty rough for a little kid. And it doesn't matter if your traumas are big or small, your original meanings are important to you and they affect your life. So never compare. Please, 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 please go back to episode about You Are the Puzzle, because honestly, that's all about you being uniquely, authentically you, and you do not contain anybody else's puzzle pieces. And when you compare, it's an unfair comparison, no matter who you compare to. No matter who. But I used to have these reoccurring nightmares when I was a kid. And they were of this boogeyman who was like 30, 40 feet tall. And he was always chasing me. And I was like, I don't know, like this little kid. And I would hide underneath buildings. It was the weirdest thing. But it was literally, I had them until I was probably about 12. And it was always the same dream. And I would always hide under this building that was under construction. And I would hide and curl myself into this tiny, tiny ball, make myself as small as humanly possible so you couldn't see me. Because then he couldn't see me. And I was safe there. See, when you feel that playing big is unsafe, you will do everything in your power to make sure you play small. And I still have that little girl. I'd done tons of work with that little girl, but hadn't recognized this last little piece. And it's funny because this is how life surfaces for you. It's always teaching you. When you're stuck, there's a reason why. So I recognize my little girl. She needs a little bit more. She needs a little bit more love and recognition. Actually, it's not even recognition. She needs love, and she needs to know that she's safe and okay. And that we can be as big and giant, an absolute powerhouse in this world. And we can go out and speak to millions of people, and we're totally okay. She needs to know that. I don't. Big grown-up me with my beautiful frontal cortex that's fully developed doesn't need to know that. But my fear center does. And the amygdala does a lot of very interesting things when it's triggered. When you move into fear, you come from a space of limits. And it limits all the things that you want to do in your life. And then the coolest / not coolest at all piece of this is when you're playing small and you know you don't want to, and then you feel guilty, and then it pulls you down more. And then it's this cycle. It's a repetitive cycle. So are you out there feeling really frustrated? Wondering why you're not getting ahead? Wondering why all your dreams that you had when you were younger feel like they will never, ever manifest, and that this is the life you're supposed to have? Because it's not. You never have to settle for a life of less unless you choose it. And more times than not, it's a block. It's just a little block. It's some information you don't have yet on how to move through it. You just need some tools and a willingness. And I cannot state that enough. It's a decision. It's a willingness. I mean, it's funny because every single big coach out there will say you need to make the decision. The decision is the first step. It's the hardest one to make. It is truly the hardest one to make. Most people think their traumas are so big, they never want to re-experience them in their lives. It's too painful. So therefore, I just want to squash it down. I just want it to stay where it is. And trust me when I say this. I know what you're saying. Facing that demon or that shadow or that darkness or whatever you want to call it is smaller than you think, though. And you never, ever have to view it from the participant space again. You never do. You can absolutely view it from the observer space instead of the participant. And that makes the world of difference with how you experience it. And then once you view it and you recognize what's there, you reprogram it, you reframe it, you change that meaning, and you're set free. And you never, ever, ever have to experience that again as this horrible trauma in your life. I'm not kidding. It is the most amazing gift you will ever give yourself. Why wouldn't you want to give that to yourself? Oh, right. Wait, because you're stuck in something. I know. I think back to many years ago when I started my personal growth journey, really from the time I was little. I always wanted to understand why people did the things they did. For me, it became an obsession. It became like a daily part of my life, like breathing. I had to pay attention to these things. But personal growth, really digging into this, started when I was in my 20s and then had a very interesting break. A period of time where I hid from myself. And then I couldn't hide anymore because the pain got so bad. Because I was so unhappy in a life that I should have been really happy in, and I wasn't. And I kept looking for meaning. What is this about? I want to give, and I'm just not doing it. Why? And then I realized I got these wounds, right? So I got these wounds. How do I get over them? How do I get rid of them? And then I went down that path, and I learned that your wounds are some of the most incredible gifts you will ever have because they give you a perspective that no one else has. They give you something so amazing that you can give to others. And I don't mean re-wounding other people. And the weird part of wounds is that until they're actually resolved and until you actually have cleared that wound and repaired and given the most beautiful, not just triage, but surgery to that wound, because it does become like the most beautiful surgery. You're spilling out components of that wound all over everybody else. Some with the results you want and some without. Some giving you results you really, really don't want. More times than not, that's what wounds do. They give results we don't want. And then we question why these things are happening. Why does this keep happening? Why is life repeating? It's a pattern. So once you get through the wounds, and this was my journey, right? Getting through my wounds. And I had some good ones. We all do. We all do. That's the thing. We all do. It doesn't matter if it's someone that beats you. It doesn't matter if it's someone that abuses you. It doesn't matter if your original meaning is people fighting in front of you. These are your original meanings. It's your normal. This is why I said you can't compare yourself to other people or compare yourself or your traumas or experiences in your childhood to anybody else, because yours are yours and yours alone. But the most amazing part is when you get through those wounds and you recognize them for what they are and you learn how your mind is working with and against you, because it is. It's like a double-edged sword. It helps you and it hurts you all at the same time. It's kind of like this. I was thinking about this yesterday as I'm doing my hair and it's raining here. I know this seems like a tangent, but I swear to God, it honestly does relate. I'm doing my hair. My hair is curly and it's kind of frizzy curly. And so yesterday I'm straightening it, and no matter how much I try and straighten it, it's still not, like, the kink won't leave it. It just is still frizzy to some extent, and I just cannot get this to leave. Because no matter what I want on the outside, I really want to change this. I really want to drive this incentive in my life. I really want these relationships. I really want this amazing job or this amazing career or I really want to go to this awesome school, or I really want to travel the world, whatever it is, I really want to give these things to my kids, whatever it is. If there's stuff underlying inside, the kink just keeps coming back until you resolve the issue. In the case of my hair, honestly, the humidity was the biggest problem. It was something external. However, it was also genetic, internal. So look at yourself from this external, internal. I want to change all these things in my external world, but I got these things going on inside. I've got these internal things that need to be resolved. I need to be able to let go of the emotions. And honestly, when we get to a point where we recognize emotions, we learn about emotions enough, and we learn how to release them and let go and become an observer of those emotions instead of experiencing them and reliving them and rehashing them over and over and over again till they destroy us. That's a lot of people. And it's painful. I'm so often brought to the notion of taking a pill over making the change. So I said, it starts with making a decision. Make the decision today that you are worth it. That you are worth it. Because you're this amazing, beautiful soul that's funny and fun and joyful and creative and absolutely stunning in the world when you show up as you, as your authentic you. You're amazing. People will be so drawn to you. So if you're looking for love, trust me, you will find the love of your life because they will show up for you because you're showing up for them. You want amazing relationships. Trust me, your relationships will evolve into some spectacular things in your life because it can't not. Because you understand that you are giving permission to all those people around you to be them too. Because you're showing up as you, as the amazing being that is you. And you want the most incredible career that lights you up inside and that gets you jumping out of bed every single day of your life because you are so freaking excited, and you want the body that goes with it. You would never feed yourself something junky on a regular basis if you didn't feel that you were worth it, that you weren't worth it. You know what I'm saying? We treat ourselves and we give other people, we teach people how to treat us, and we teach ourselves about ourselves in the way that we treat ourselves. Today, I wanted to talk about the authentic self because I think it's absolutely crucial for us to live a very beautiful, rich, full, healthy life when we come from the space of authentic self, not living for someone else. And I don't mean this as selfish. When you find your truth, who you are, the most amazing being, I guarantee you, you will know giving on a whole new level because it overflows from you in ways that you cannot even imagine in the space when you're giving from lack. When you give from wholeness, your authentic self, you're showing up 100%, you're showing up 95% of who you are. There's no apologies. People can't help but love that. And if they don't, it's because they're butting up against their own things inside themselves. Our lives are reflections of what we feel inside. So if you're wondering why your life isn't showing you all the great things that you are, I mean this, all the amazing, great things you are, you're capable of, absolutely capable of, then you got to ask why. It's not life. It's something inside. And don't get mad. Don't get sad. Don't get shameful or guilty. Just recognize it. There's something that needs to be worked through. And then you can show up as you. And everyone will thank you for it. Today, actually this week, but today I bring you authentic me, unapologetically. You love me or you hate me. And honestly, I love me, so I'm okay with it. I want to give you the gift of you. Truly give you the gift of you. If you're ready to take this journey and you make this decision to say, I am worth it. I am so worth the amazing me that is inside. Woohoo! I am worth it. If you are ready to take that step, click on the link inside the show notes and come join your life, the most amazing journey, because it is. This life is a gift. Every single moment of it, every single moment that feels like craziness and chaos and beauty and frustration, all of it. An amazing gift. I want to give that to you. Do you want to give that to you? Because if you do, oh God, I cannot wait to work with you. I cannot wait to work with you. Because that lights me up inside. This is me in purpose. This is me in passion and drive. And I love this, and I get out of bed, jumping out of bed every day for this. I want to help you see your every day, your jumping out of bed, your excitement, your passion, and your absolute joy in life. That's it for this week. Beautiful, beautiful souls. If this doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you. You're not ready. Or maybe you feel that you're living your most powerful you. And that's awesome. But I want you to be really honest with yourself. Are you feeling really fulfilled in who you are? Do you feel you show up to the world as your full, true self? If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lack of purpose, if you're feeling motivation lacking, if you're procrastinating, trust me, this is also all linked. If you are just not feeling like you, that was part of it for me too, was I just didn't feel like me. I knew I was meant for so much more. If you're feeling like you're meant for so much more, woo, you are. I want to help you discover that. All right, beautiful souls. I hope that this was a moment of enlightening. I hope that this had you asking some questions about some underlying things that may be blocking you. And my biggest faith is that you will be ready to say, I'm worth it today. My biggest faith is that you will be able to say, I am worth it. I am absolutely worth it. And that you take a step. First step's always the scariest. After that, they all become easier. And trust me, if there's big traumas locked in there, they can be guided out in ways that do not take you down the path of experiencing it over and over and over again. I find that absolutely soul-crushing. And actually, from a neurological standpoint, going backwards here for a second, but from a neurological standpoint, you're literally just strengthening neural pathways, which is what you want to break. So I don't believe at all in rehashing over and over and over again a trauma. It never has to be dealt with in that manner to be able to clear it. There's many, many other much healthier ways to clear it today. Beautiful, beautiful souls. Take these words, sit with them. Love you. Give you so much love. Unconditional, unapologetic, beautiful, amazing, wrapped around you, so supporting love. Until next week, beautiful souls, when we move into what I might actually consider a business series, because we actually have quite a few coming down the pike on things that you can do to really help accelerate a business, things that you may not be thinking about right now. One of them is on different funding options for businesses. One of them is on leadership and management and how to really put the right people in the right positions so that you get the most from them and you and your company grows in the way you want it to. Oh, so exciting. I loved doing that episode. And then the next one, there is also one on lending and options for lending and the different mindsets that come along with small to medium and large businesses and how we open to shifting that mindset so that we can really, really utilize what we need to leverage our money, have money making money, right? And much, much more is coming down the pike. Cannot wait to bring this to you guys because we're in the moments of shift. Are you thinking about pivoting and how you're managing your business? So for those of you business owners out there, or those of you thinking that maybe your job doesn't feel so secure right now. In Alberta, we have a lot going on with the energy sector, and a lot of people have seen layoffs and positions that they will never, ever be able to take back. So what are you doing? And this is a perfect, beautiful time to figure out who you are, what you want, what drives you, so that you can go out and absolutely achieve it. Yay! All right. Until next week, beautiful souls, have an absolutely extraordinary week.